Oh, we're live. Hi, sorry. Happy New President Day, everybody. So initially, I was going to do a chat for my runners. And then at the last minute, when I looked over my notes and really fleshed out what I wanted to say, I decided to share this with my protest kids too. So, hi, everybody. I'm also trying to get this in real quick before I have to go play whack-a-mole with little kids, getting them to stay in bed. So forgive me if I'm not at my most eloquent. I haven't run for the runners who feel kind of guilty because this week has been a bit of paralysis. I want to validate you because I ain't run since Sunday, I think, which means I have not showered since Sunday, which means that my husband had to be like, you smell kind of funny, because when you run every day like I've done for so long, running, I don't need a cue to shower because it just happens. I'll do that after my run. And then when the run doesn't happen, you're like, I stink. That's all. Why am I doing that? But all day long, I really felt like I was in that movie, The Green Mile, which is like I'm exhaling black flies that have been collecting in my chest for the past 4 years. And I probably spent too much time in my own head processing, why is that? And what I keep coming back to is the role that I tend to play wherever I am. Believe it or not, I'm that person who says whatever's on her mind. Crazy. I say the thing that everyone's thinking, and I don't ever expect to be rewarded for it because there are consequences. There's privilege in speaking your mind. I don't care how much privilege you are, there are consequences unless you're a white man. So the times I have done that, even when asked to, I didn't do it correctly and I made someone mad. And every time, by the way, can I just say, anytime anyone has ever said to me, Kay, are you aware of how incendiary you can be, how strong-willed, how stubborn, difficult, insert whatever coded language you want in there, I always want to reply with, are you aware of how angry you get when someone tells you no? Is it just me or is it everyone? Is it just women? But I know what the response to that to be, more anger, so I don't. But I might start doing that now. 4 years ago, I established myself as a coach, as a running coach, who said, I know we're at our level in this game. We're never really talking about the running. It's self-care, it's fitness, but it's a hobby. We don't need to perform or meet KPIs to put food on the table or have medical insurance. Like, this is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to make us feel good. So I've developed this framework that will make you feel good all the time and lower your resting heart rate and improve your cholesterol. Let's just do it. All right. There's no dieting. We're just going to do less. We're going to do less and worry less and think less and put less pressure on ourselves. And we're going to be a whole lot more consistent. It's going to freak you out in the beginning, but it's going to feel good. And little by little, that happened for my clients. And I had to hold their hand every step of the way because no one ever says this. What do I need to do? It's always more. It's always some superlative because that's such a uniquely American thing that we put all this pressure on one day to change everything. One day can change your life. And that's a function of marketing and, frankly, just stupid people, short-sighted, trying to get your money. And they're really good at it, which is probably why I'm bad at selling my company. And we're right back where we were when I opened our doors 2 years ago, the same number of subscribers. And one of the harder things about, what's easy for me is I know what's off limits. I know what I'm supposed to not do and not say. And I've always thought that those unwritten rules were stupid and did not serve me. When you're a White House intern and a very popular senator puts his hands on your shoulders, you can't say no without, please don't do that. I feel icky without ruining your career. There's no way to say no to certain individuals in a way that preserves you. You understand that no matter how it is said, is incendiary and it's going to blow everything up. And that's not about you. That's about them. But we can't talk about it because that's impolite. And we can't talk about, I was a White House intern in 1998, FYI. So yeah, I got opinions. But I did that we didn't have language to describe those unwritten rules back then. And we do now. So I feel differently about things looking back. My life is full of the moments where I couldn't speak my mind and was yet punished as though I had. I remember a time I helped cover up something for someone thinking I'd be rewarded at the end, and I was still let go because they were afraid I couldn't be trusted in the long term to keep my mouth shut. I'm like, really? That was the last time I ever did that. So 4 years ago, I'm coaching and I'm having all these one-on-one calls with my clients, guiding them through my training, which, by the way, is not scary. It's just weird and counterintuitive to not go balls out every single time you put on your running shoes. And I loved having these calls, and I loved being hands-on, and I loved talking to everyone all the time. I really, truly did. Granted, I'm much more introverted than it seems. I would need like 6 hours alone to recover from all those phone calls. But I lived for those days when I could really connect with people and help them prepare their best next step, because that's, as a coach, is what I do. Whether we're talking about getting what you need out of a volunteer event, or an action like a protest, or another volunteer thing that's supposed to make you feel good but usually makes you feel like crap, like marathons or running of any sort. I am good at that. And I am really good at listening, connecting, and saying the right thing. But I've never been able to translate that into the unwritten rules of the rest of the world in a way that doesn't scare the bejesus out of everybody around me. Those calls changed very suddenly after election in 2016. And all of a sudden my calls, which were never really about the running. It was like, if I don't meet this goal I made up, what does that say about me? And I'm scared. And what people were scared of went to something very real and very direct. I'm afraid that this new president is going to invalidate my marriage to my spouse, and I will no longer have custody of my children because they came out of her body out of her womb instead of mine. I'm afraid that my husband, my cousin, my sister, my best friend is going to be they're this close to getting their green card, and I'm afraid they're going to be sent back home. And all of a sudden, this went from sort of the intangible, which I could manage. You know, the am I really okay? Is this really okay? Am I really loved? Am I really winning at life? Which I can do that all day long. To very real problems that I'm not qualified to fix. And none of us could say anything about it because it's rude to talk about anything political. It is rude to dissent. It is rude to say no, and saying, hey, this bothers me indicates weakness, and Americans hate that. That's not uniquely American, but we do that too. We shoot the person who complains, not the person who's stepping out of line, especially if that person is anything other than a white man. And I gotta say, it was weird for the past 4 years to be in this place where anything you say is political. Everything's political. Everything's paralyzed and there's nowhere to go. These past 4 years have not been the 4 years of running prime that I'd expected for myself, because boy, I'd been counting those days when I could go and get back to the fitness I had before I had babies and see how fast I could get and just take off and not have to worry about any major changes to my body again. And that did not work out that way. And that's okay. It is okay. And I woke up this morning thinking about like, oh, it's Happy New President's Day, but I didn't feel exuberant. I don't know what y'all felt. I felt like, again, I'm exhaling all this black flies. I had been planning to go for a run as soon as I dropped the kids off at school, but what I ended up doing all day long was laying on my couch, and it was amazing. I wasn't worried, and I wasn't scared, and I wasn't nervous about what I was going to see when I turned on the TV. And I kind of went and looked at the Facebook groups to see what was happening, what my runners were saying, because for once I wasn't worried that what they were going to be bringing to the table were problems that I couldn't solve, problems that I would be punished implicitly for not solving. Well, I'm here, I'm spending this money, and I don't feel better, so this doesn't work, and I'm going to go. And God, it's been weird. And part of the reason I feel compelled to say anything right now is because what we have been missing for the past 4 years is leadership. We really have. You don't lead by Twitter directive. You don't lead by shutting down dissent. You don't lead by punching the people who speak up and have nothing to gain from it. People who are willing and understand that if I say, hey, no, stop, that doesn't work, what you're doing is committing career suicide of sorts. You understand that you can't win, so you're done playing. And it's amazing. It is amazing to be here now in a place where one of the people I knew back in 1998 is the savior, allegedly, going to be the one walking us out of the crisis. What I know is this, and it's a great quote from T. Boone Pickens. You want to have some fun, go Google that guy, T. Boone Pickens. It's better to have a fool with a plan than a genius without one. As a coach, you've been with me for a while, you've heard me say all too often, all I need is a blueprint. I don't like plans. Blueprints were made to change. They are not static. They are designed to evolve over time, which is why they're usually written in that really neat oil pen that I like to use on my wall sometimes when I can't get to my whiteboard. My bathroom is a mess, y'all. But I digress. What we have needed for 4 years was leadership and a plan. And on day one, we got that. And I forgot how good that feels. And it felt so good that I didn't feel like this huge rush because, again, it's uniquely American to put too much pressure on a day. One day can change everything, but not all change comes in one day. It's doled out in small pieces. But it's a start. It's a start. It is so cool to see somebody saying this is what we're going to do about the pandemic. And I still don't think we're going to have any races this fall. I'm not, if I was a betting person, I'm not really, we're probably not going to have any races next fall either. Not all problems have been solved. A lot of things are in motion. But you know what? Tomorrow my body's going to be in motion too. And not because I'm scared of what will happen if I don't run or feel guilty because I haven't run in 5 days or feel weird that I've only run so many miles this month. I'm just going to go out and do. And I can't wait to see what happens. My resting heart rate was already 10 beats lower today. And my blood pressure was better. And that to me is just a confirmation of what I've been saying for 4 years, right? This isn't you. You're not losing fitness. You're not losing. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with this. And the fact that you are still able to function amidst all of this speaks to how fucking badass you are, to how badass we all are. So I'm going to close on this, what I'm sure feels like another one of my word salads. The point I want to make is whatever it is you're feeling today, if it's not what you expected, it's because you expected the wrong thing. A day can change everything, but not all change will come in one day. Change is on the way. There's a man in the highest office in our land with a blueprint, which means that we can start making plans, not just yet, but there's hope. We are returning to hope. We're returning to something. We're returning to that thing that runners love the most. I have scheduled my year around a fall and a spring race for as long as I could possibly remember. Even back before I was a little girl in 1998, wandering around the White House in a suit that I'd gotten from a thrift store because it was the best I could afford. I tell you what, it's not all the way up here, but it's good to spend a day not in the dumps, not in a hole, not pretending that everything's okay when it absolutely isn't, and not struggling to find words that aren't political to some. When my body is a political statement, when we're living in a disaster of a time with an incompetent buffoon for a president who did fucking nothing. And I tell you all of that in hopes that wherever you are right now, if all you've done today is wonder where the blue iPad is, the answer is it's still charging. And if you're waiting for your turn, you're going to get it. Shut the door, please, because I don't want to hear the fan. Shut the door, please, because I don't want to hear the fan. Yep, I'll tell you in a minute. Whack-a-mole. Said, guess this has gone on for too long. I love you. I can't think when I'm looking at you, so hide over there. Hide over there. Hide over here, over there. Thank you. Hi. Gosh, I love you. Anyway, so to that, whatever it is you're feeling, let yourself feel it. Change is on the way. It ain't all going to happen today. We did it, y'all. We survived. And I hope from this point forward, if you've gotten real political in other aspects of your life, if you've gotten real loud on Twitter about the things that you don't like and can't handle and don't want to see, I sincerely hope you bring that into every other aspect of your life so that right here, not where my protest kids are, but here, everywhere else, I'm really hoping we can go back to talking about the running again and not about how I'm always going to talk about how it's a different experience for people with darker skin. I am. That's not going away. That's who I've always been. I'm not going to pretend that reality isn't happening, but I really want to get back to a place where we kind of are talking about the running because the pandemic is managed and we can have group events, even if we're wearing a face mask, and we can plan on races and we can look to the future instead of just putting our heads down to get through every single day. So the best thing you can be is ready for whatever's going to happen next. It's going to be a rebuilding year, Check out Rebuild. Thank you for being here. If you're already in the program, check out Maintain. And if you wake up on tomorrow morning and think to yourself, actually, I think I might be ready for something more than that. Slow Burn starts on Monday. That's when the first workout is. I'm not going to lie to y'all. The bye week had more to do with the inauguration. There was a part of me that was afraid we would be in the insurrection was going to happen yesterday and end up being a civil war, and I'm really glad it wasn't. So now that we have an idea of what's going to happen, and we have a pretty good idea that it's going to be good, I can't wait to be on this ride with you. And for all the runners that I've been backing away from because the connection was overwhelming, I really look forward to reconnecting with every single one of you because Slow Burn is going to be my priority. I'm leading it myself. You're going to get me half an hour every day grunting through all of this with you because I've lost a lot of my strength and being just as honest as I can possibly be. Since all bets are now completely off, and I've spent the past year and a half saying, or at least definitely the last 8 months, saying all kinds of things that I've never had the freedom, the strength, or the platform to say. There we go. I hope y'all sleep as well tonight as I will after my game of whack-a-mole. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I got to get back to that before the others figure out that their leader has come up the stairs and the mutiny begins because someone taught them how to protest.
Hi!
And collective bargaining works better when all 4 of you are united.
Hi!
Don't know where they learned that. They're pretty good at it.
I learned it from you.
Yeah, I know.
I learned it from you because you protest all the time.
That's right.
You basically show me. Oh, there are 10 people watching this.
Oh, there's more than that because that's across 10 people per platform, babe. What's that? What's 10 times 10?
10 times 10 is 100.
There you go. All 100 of you. Hope you have a really good night. And I cannot wait to see my runners tomorrow in our Zoom, either for Slow Burn or the biweekly hangout. You're coached. You are loved. We won these past 4 years. We won the presidency. Screw you. My head's the best. I don't know who you are, but you're clearly a loser and have nothing better to do with Twitter. Love you too. Good night.